Hey folks, how you doing? I dropped off there. Hello? Let me go over to, if anybody's listening, I dropped off. Sorry. So, let me go back to the website, which is the WayneSPearshow.weebly.com site, and tell folks that I'm still here. And I really have a hard time with things crashing, okay? The only thing that doesn't crash on me is my Google Chrome. I was using Mozilla Firefox. So, and that took a dump. So that I'm back now. No music, no nothing. I just wanted to pop back on there. I knew it was going to take less than a minute. And, oh, hey, Brian Lang's in the chat room over at the WayneSPearshow.weebly.com site. Please, if you can reconnect, that would be awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So many things are going on, and I just am frantically trying to get stuff reloaded here. So pardon my anxiety over here, okay? Pardon me, Dave. It's all right, Dave. All right. Hey, I got family in Ohio. I want to say hello to them. They're in Columbus. So appreciate them as well. So let me go back over to the Wayne S. Pierce Show. On the WayneSPearshow.weebly.com site. And Brian says, I still got you playing, and I got to get ready for an event to go to. Have a great rest of the broadcast. Thank you. I appreciate that. Awesome. See how awesome this guy is? Go listen to his show. Brian Lang, Live Truth Radio, livetruthradio.com. Check it out. Awesome. Always busy, always on the go. Yeah. When does he sleep? I don't know. Is sleep completely out of his schedule for the day? I don't know. So anyway. There was something I wanted to read to you before my Mozilla Firefox crashed. That's what the problem was, folks. I'm frantically doing things over here. I'm multitasking, if you want to know. It's just one of those things, okay? It's one of those things. Anyway, I'm having fun. That's the thing, folks. Bad words come out. I cuss, yeah, but I don't do it that often unless something just completely fries my freaking patience. And I've been testing the Mozilla Firefox with all of the things that you can do with it, and I noticed that and I don't know, tell me whether or not this has happened to you. I've noticed that when I open up too many tabs, boom, as you can tell, it crashed. I had 4 tabs open on the Mozilla Firefox, and the whole thing just crashed. So does that happen to you? Let me know. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Going to the WayneSPearshow.weebly.com site, I want to I encourage people to go there and get into the chat room. Okay? Please, because I want to hear from you. Jump on in there and tell me what's going on. So, anyway, here's this article I want to read. It's from theblaze.com, and Jason Howerton wrote this. Thank you, Jason. Texas sheriff's brutal warning to the Islamic State should send a chill through every terrorist. Appearing on CNN last night, a Texas sheriff sent an undeniably harsh warning to any Islamic State terrorists who have plans to attack the United States. When CNN's Don Lemon asked Midland County Sheriff Gary Painter what message he would like to send to the terrorists, he replied, "If you rear your ugly head, we'll send them to hell." If they rear their ugly head, we'll send them to hell. Midland County Sheriff Gary Painter said that. It doesn't get any clearer than that. Painter also revealed that he received an alert bulletin warning that Islamic State militants have a terrorist cell near Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, just miles across the border from El Paso, Texas. Law enforcement officers in the area are being advised to be on the alert for any suspicious potential terrorist activity. The FBI would not comment on reports of the alert bulletin when contacted by the Midland Reporter Telegram. There's a video there on the website on the Blaze. Painter, who worked near the U.S. border for nearly a decade, told CNN that it would be naive to say the Islamic State is not in the United States. He criticized the federal government for not doing enough to keep the border secure and the country safe. Further, he argued that President Barack Obama should respond quickly and harshly to Islamic State aggression. He called on the Obama administration to hit the terrorist group hard in Iraq and Syria. Quote, "What needs to happen is that there needs to be enough bombs dropped on them that every time they hear a jet propeller, they urinate themselves down both legs," unquote, Painter said. Though the interview aired on Friday, the sheriff's fiery message of the Islamic State terrorist was starting to go viral on Tuesday. Dana Lash, who is also a contributor and a host on the Blaze TV, literally said that we need to turn that area where all those terrorists are overseas. She used these words, turn it into glass. That's just the way it is. Do I want that? Do I want to see that? Well, let me ask a question, and I'm going to go here to my next subject. Okay? And it's very interesting considering the fact that we have a person taking up space in the White House. We have an administration that is just totally running rampant just over the Constitution. Okay? And I'm going to go here. I'm going to ask you this question. Here you are. You're out and about. You're in Texas. You're in New Mexico. You're in Arizona. You're in California. You're in the southern part of the state. But you hear through the grapevine, if you will, that ISIS and these terrorist groups and all of the drug cartels and MS-13 and all these gangs and all that is coming through the border. You don't specifically know where they're going, but you know they're crossing the border. My question to you is this. Would you get that gut check and have the confidence and have the wherewithal to go to the border armed to stop these morons from coming through? In other words, are you willing to put your life on the line to protect your country? I know I am. It pains me to the very soul that we have people out there that would say, let the administration do its thing. Let the administration take care of this. Let the government handle this. No. You and I, we the people, have to stand up and take this country back. And I know you've heard it probably a dozen times or more, but I'm going to say it again. Brian Lang, you're right, buddy. Stand up, speak out, and get involved. And if those illegal aliens and if those terrorist groups and from what I have gathered, they're close to where you're at in Ohio. If I were you, I'd make some very, very tough decisions. Choose wisely, but make the decisions. You know, there's some states here that states in the United States that say you can't have guns. You know, you got to register them. California, you got to have your weapon in your jockey box and the bullets in the trunk. Excuse me? No, my weapon goes on me. But you don't have a license and it's not registered. You ever heard of the Second Amendment? That's my license and registration right there. You don't like it? Tough. And if any one of your states in that location, Brian, check this out, because I know Pennsylvania's like tossing around a few things, and Illinois has declared that everybody can have a concealed carry permit and conceal a weapon. That's fine. But I don't know, like Michigan and all those other ones. I don't know. So, what is it going to take? And when is it going to be enough to where people go, you know what, screw all your laws. Screw all the state laws. We have a Constitution and a Bill of Rights ratified December 15th, 1791. That's what I'm following. You can go to hell. I'm carrying my weapon. That is what I'm going to do. When is it going to get to that point? By the way, if you register your weapon, they know where to come get it. They know where to come get it. Why would you want to do that? So you're at the border, talking to the border states, and even up there, because I know all these terrorists and illegals have gone north. So you're at the border, you see these people come over, these jackasses come over, they're coming over, you know perfectly well that they are gang members and terrorists and all this. Did you know that the terrorists overseas go to Mexico, change their name to some surname down there that is recognizable, change their looks, cut their hair, do all that, look like the Mexicans, and then just walk over the border? Did you know that? That's on record, by the way. Go look that up. So we have ISIS, we have IS or ISIL, as the president calls them. It's all Al-Qaeda, folks. You know what Al-Qaeda is? Mujahideen from the 1970s and 80s. That's it, folks. Hello? It's all one and the same. It's all one and the same. It's all one and the same. Your terrorist groups were set up by the United States government through various means and various allies. And they made their way to the United States. Now, here's an interesting little tidbit of information. As if what I've just told you wasn't enough, our government has been doing this for years. Trading and making concessions with the enemy. That's what they've been doing. Operation Paperclip. Anyone? They do it. They're not going, this administration now is not going to give these terrorists jobs, although there is a bunch of Muslim Brotherhood members in the White House, except for one, the advisor. He quit. To do what? Probably go back home to set up his own little thing and come on over here, because now he's got all the secrets and he knows how to get in the country and all this. He's got his connections. He had to build that relationship over the period of time he was there to get these people into the country. And now, what do we see? We see the borders wide open. We see terrorist groups coming over. We see a bunch of people who we see a bunch of people coming over here. I mean, we have no idea who they are. We have no idea who they are. Okay? None. Okay? And we're supposed to trust this regime to close the border? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's time we, the people, do what we have to do to keep these terrorists out of our country. Seriously. We have to do everything we can to keep them out of the country. I'm not kidding you. And that's why I asked, are you willing to put your life on the line for this country? Are you willing to do what it takes? Because I'll tell you right now, if you're not, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to think about that one. I've taken a lot. I should say I've seen a lot of information, and I have taken a lot of that information and sifted through it and saw exactly what is going to happen to this country. And I saw, along with that, the apathy that people have concerning this country as a whole. And these same people are kind of wishy-washy or in total support of the fascism, communism, socialism, Marxism in this country. A country that our founding fathers, that our great-great-great-great-grandfathers probably fought for. I had 3 members of my family on the Pierce side in the Civil War. And I think I'm related to the person, I think it's in Pennsylvania, the Pierce House. I had 3 members of my family in the Union Army fighting for this country. I sure as hell am not going to dishonor them by just sitting around and, collecting a welfare check. I don't do that now. I'm just using that as an example. So if you want this country to go, belly up, and you think that this government is going to take care of you, yeah, have fun with that one. Obamacare was designed to fail. That's why many states are taking it up. Common Core was designed to dumb down your children and grandchildren for their minds to be so pliable that the government can just come in and go, did you know that your folks are socialist? Oh yeah, brainwash them into believing anything that they want your children to believe. I don't get it, folks. I honestly do not get it. Hey, I noticed on the clock that it's the top of the hour, even with that little glitch. So I'm going to go to break, and this is I'll be back, so don't go away. Stick around. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show for Tuesday, the 9th of September, 2014. Sit tight, folks. I shall return.
Shall we play a game?
Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world where none suffered, where everyone would be happy? And it was a disaster. No one would accept the program. Entire crops were lost. Some believed that we lacked the programming language to describe your perfect world, but I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering. So the perfect world was a dream that your primitive cerebrum kept trying to wake up from, which is why the Matrix was redesigned to this, the peak of your civilization.
I am wondering,
Why are you here?
This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from The Views Expressed. Please come join me on The Views Express Live, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. The President of the United States turns the country into a dictatorship. And what happens after he does? Find out in the book Dictator-in-Chief by Brian Keller, available at Amazon.com or CreateSpace.com. Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com.
Lock it on to the best station on the net.
For all you independent artists, musicians, and filmmakers, there is a place for you. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. What we see is not always the truth. Lies, deceit, cover-ups. This is the world we live in. It is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook and distortedreality.podbean.com.
What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Catch up on the latest news and controversy and more on The Spencer Hughes Show on Spreaker.com and SpencerHughes.net. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. Hey folks, welcome to the Wayne S. Pierce Show for the 9th of September 2014. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. How are you? Are you doing good? Are you happening? Is it there? Are you awake? Oh my goodness! Can we have some sanity coming out of Washington, D.C.? Oh my God, is that too much to ask for? From TeaPartyCrusaders.com, breaking ISIS in El Paso, Fort Bliss under high alert. Dean James wrote this, probably a pseudonym. The recent increase in security at a key army base near a Mexican border city where Islamic terrorists are confirmed to be operating and planning an attack on the United States indicates that the facility is a target, according to senior military experts contacted by Judicial Watch. Well, do you trust Judicial Watch? Last week, JW reported that the militant group Islamic State of Iraq and Greater Syria, ISIS, is working in the Mexican border town of Ciudad Juarez. I don't know, that's just Juarez to me. And planning to attack the United States with car bombs and other vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices. High-level federal law enforcement, intelligence, and other sources confirmed to JW that a warning bulletin for an imminent terrorist attack on the border has been issued. Agents across a number of Homeland Security, Justice, and Defense agencies have been placed on alert and instructed to aggressively work all possible leads and sources concerning this imminent terrorist threat. I just got a feeling it's a distraction, folks. My gut tells me it's a distraction. Juarez is a famously crime-infested narcotics hotbed situated across from El Paso, Texas. Fort Bliss is the Army's second-largest installation, spanning more than 1 million acres with an active duty force of 34,411 and headquartered in El Paso. 2 days after JW broke the story on ISIS operating in Juarez, Fort Bliss announced it was increasing security measures. A statement that went out to the media was rather vague. That's why I say I think it's a distraction, attributing the move to several recent security assessments and the constant concern for safety of military members, families, employees, and civilians. But senior military officials contacted by JW this week revealed the military installation in the U.S. only make changes to security measures when there are clear and present threats. Quote, it's a significant issue when this is done, unquote, says retired Army Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin, former commander of the Army's elite Delta Force, who also served 4 years as Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. Quote, that means they're getting a threat stream. Fort Bliss had to have a clear and present threat, unquote. The inaccuracies to the public appear to be a part of a broader effort by the Obama administration to downplay the bloodshed that has long plagued the southern border, and now the imminent threat of Islamic Jihad is planning to strike as the 13th anniversary of the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil approaches. Remember that Obama's first Homeland Security Secretary, Janet Napolitano, famously proclaimed that the border is as secure as it has ever been, even as organized syndicates took over portions of the region, smuggling drugs, humans, weapons, and money into the U.S. It's not secure, folks. I want to dispel that rumor right now. The border is not secure. Okay, just letting you know, the border is not secure. All right? I feel, and I'm going to make this known, this is just a feeling, this is just something that it's an opinion, it is what it is. I'm not going to, harp on it too much. But I have a feeling that this news story is a complete distraction. All right? I just want to let you all know that it is, I get the feeling it's a distraction. Seriously. I also want people to know that I don't support aggressive, I don't support aggressive offensive moves. In other words, I don't want people to go out and start, oh, ISIS is here, oh my God, we're just going to have to go and tear stuff up and be stupid. I don't want that. I don't support violence in that manner. But I do support defense. So I would suggest everybody in Texas get down to the damn border and close it, especially where they're coming through. Because we have to defend our country, and our country means a hell of a lot more to us than we probably would ever admit. Okay? I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. It may mean a whole lot to you. It may mean a whole lot to your family, and what's going on may seem not to be such a big deal. But when you get right down to it, it's a big deal. Isn't it? So I have another question for you this hour. How are you relating all of this information to your children, whether they be young, under 10 years old, or teenagers? What are you telling them? Because they have to know the truth. Because what are they going to ask you if when they see militarized law enforcement come into your neighborhood and around your house and around every place, and they can't go anywhere and they can't play out in the yard? What are you going to tell them then? This is a good question, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, what else? Let's go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page and go here, freedomoutpost.com. freedomoutpost.com. U.S. calls for contractors to go into Iraq. Suzanne Hamner put this up 9 hours ago. The fungus in chief is reluctant to deploy the U.S. military in Iraq to fight ISIS, so the U.S. is now seeking contractors to, quote, help build and strengthen the military in the war-torn country, unquote. As you may recall, the Iraqi military dropped their weapons and ran in the face of advancing ISIS forces, and many will remember how many years the U.S. was in Iraq, quote, training, building, and strengthening, unquote, the Iraqi military forces while providing military equipment costing millions of dollars that was subsequently left there after the U.S. withdrawal. Evidently, those efforts were not enough or just plain unsuccessful. What kind of contractors are being considered exactly? The U.S. Army Contracting Command, according to the Stars and Stripes report, is requesting applications for personnel to advise the Iraqi Defense Ministry and Counterterrorism Service in the areas such as troop deployment, logistics planning and operations, communications, infrastructure management, intelligence, and public affairs logistics. Personnel should be, quote, cognizant of the goals of reducing tension between Arabs and Kurds and Sunnis and Shias, unquote. Are these contractors a private fighting force such as mercenaries? Are these contractors, advisors with military training. Are you going to train and strengthen a group of men who turn and run at the initial clash with ISIS? How do you train someone to be courageous? And did not some of Iraq's military force say they would not fight for a Shia majority government or fight against Sunni brothers? Sunnis and Shias have been clashing for centuries as to who is the upholder of the true Islam. See, even within their own ranks, they battle one another, just like the Christians over here. Is there really any way to reduce this tension? Sunnis do not want to support a Shia-dominant government, and Shias do not want to support a Sunni-dominant government. Any slight tip of the scale in either direction produces a protest leading to conflict. Then there is the ever-present fact that Islam is Islam. Add to the mix the Arab-Kurd tension, and it is obvious this is a volatile mixture that will only be resolved in one way: the eradication of the opposite side, with the winner taking the spoils. According to the Defense Department spokesman, Commander Bill Speaks, the services of contractors fall within the existing mission of the Office of Security Assistance Iraq, whose purpose is to, quote, help build institutional capacity of Iraq's security ministries, unquote. Former Army Lieutenant Colonel David Johnson, Executive Director of the Center of Advanced Defense Studies in Washington, claims that contractors in combat areas are not the same as boots on the ground and are less costly than the deployment of U.S. troops. Quote, the government always seeks to minimize boots on the ground to reduce domestic political risk, unquote. He continues and says, quote, the American people and media do not consider a paid contractor to represent them in the same way they do a soldier, unquote. So, it's acceptable to send Americans as contractors to combat area as long as it isn't formal military. As Michael O'Hanlon of the Brookings Institute indicates, the U.S. has sent as many contractors as troops to Iraq and Afghanistan in the past. Because it was done in the past, does that mean it should be done again? It's a pretty lengthy article, folks. You can find that on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. I do have a question concerning the difference between contractors and military. What's the difference? I mean, seriously, what is the difference? Because as far as I know, there is no difference. As far as I know, as far as I can see, there is no difference. The military is out there, and the public knows about it, and there they are in their rank, in their ranks and in their, uniforms and all that. Mercenaries, contracted private military, or I should say private paramilitary, can go in, sneak in, do whatever they got to do, and then get out without probably, hopefully, not being detected at all. But working alongside with some, let's just say, military intelligence. Now, the other thing that I have thought of in all of this was, how is it, seriously, how is it that a group of people cannot come to an agreement? Okay? Sunni, Shia, that kind of thing. How can they be of one religion, of one mind, but still be divided by ideology? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, here we are in the United States of America, the most freest, well, I should say, the once seen most freest nation in the world, but now we're not. We have the same thing here. We have various religious denominations, religious organizations, but they're all different. They all, number one, they all believe in a higher power, in God. They all believe that his instruction book, the Bible, or whatever other book they seem to have, and along with the Bible, they all believe that the instructions are in those books are, you've got to follow them. These religions are very legalistic in that way. But they all believe in God. And they all believe that their books help guide them. They all believe that everything in those books is the way that you ought to live. And they all believe in a higher power. See where I'm going with this, folks? So why are these people pissed off at one another? Why? Looking back in history, I can see why. Because two brothers got pissed off at one another and decided, oh, well, you're not going to do this and you're not going to accept me. You can just bite me in the, So I want to impress upon you to at least open your heart and mind to the fact that, number one, we have set these governments up. We have put Saddam Hussein in power, and then we took him out. We put Muammar Gaddafi in power, and then we took him out. We put Hitler in power, and then we took him out, or he took himself out. We put Khrushchev in power, and then he left. We put Gorbachev in power, put Yeltsin in power, put all these people in power. Oh, and the recent one, the one in the Ukraine, we put him in power, but then pulled him out because, he ran off like a scared little schoolgirl. And then we put somebody else in power. Our government did this, folks. Coming up on the 13th anniversary of 9/11, you have to understand one very important factor in all of this. Our government did it. And don't even go to this question of why would our government do this? We've been doing it for hundreds of years. Other countries in other eras have been doing the same thing for thousands of years. Problem, reaction, solution. Go to startpage.com, look up Hegelian dialectic. We have been battling. Out of the 238 years that this country has been in existence since 1776, that's over 238 years, is that not? Correct me if I'm wrong, if my math is off a little. We have been at war in some way, shape, or form with whoever around the world, or even our neighbors down south, for over 209 years. We don't know anything but war. Okay? There is this mindset that says, in some cases, not in every case, but there's this mindset in some people's minds that say, I want what I want. And we have a regime in this country, in our nation's capital, that says, I'm going to do what I want. And we have a Congress that says, well, if you have to, but we got to make it look good for the general public. Let me give you a reality check that won't bounce, okay? Let me give you a reality check that won't bounce. It doesn't matter, folks. It doesn't matter at all. Your votes don't count. They never have and they never will. Your money that you have in your pocket and your bank account is worthless. The toilet paper hanging off your, toilet paper roll in your bathroom is worth a lot more than that dollar sitting in your pocket. Your $5 you spend on a latte at, some famous coffee shop somewhere only exchanges for the rate at which that product or service is as valuable as that free market dictates that it is, but the dollar is worthless. So you tell me. You tell me, folks. Where do you see this country going? Where do you see it going? I don't know, folks. I don't know. I see the players in the game. I know who these players are. I know that they have very nefarious ideals. I know that they're going to implement certain things. Don't know when, but I know they will. I know how their infrastructure is set up to take over the United States of America and collapse it into a third world country and bring it into the North American Union, set up similar to the European Union, which of course is collapsing as we speak. So is the Asian Union collapsing as we speak. And we're seeing a degree of, let me rephrase that. We're seeing a large degree of apathy in a number of people who literally don't give a crap. Now, the vast majority of the American citizens in the United States know exactly what's going on, and they're doing everything they can to change that and to make things, to really get back America. Can we take back America? Yes, we can. It's really simple. It's going to take a lot of work, but it's very simple. Once you get the plan down, once you implement that plan, get the infrastructure, the personnel involved, won't take anywhere between, I don't know, from what I've gathered, it'll take anywhere between 6 months to a year, and we got our country back. But it's going to take people like you and I, courageous, get a gut check. You got to get a massive gut check to see what's going on. Since I had that little glitch earlier in the show, folks, I'm going to take off here in about 12 minutes. But I want to remind you of something. I want to remind you of another show. I want to remind you of Ashley Jones, the host of Red Pill Radio Show on alternatecurrentradio.com. That's the Red Pill Radio Show, alternatecurrentradio.com, and your host, Ashley Jones. I've listened to the show, and you're really going to like it. I hope. I really think that you already know. You already know how things are. I'm sure of that. I hear somebody outside. Sorry. I'm sure of it. So go check out Monday through Thursday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, the Red Pill Radio Show with Ashley Jones. How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? Check it out over on alternatecurrentradio.com. And folks, since I'm going to be getting out of here in just a few minutes, I also want to remind you of the Views Expressed Live tomorrow. I will be on 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully no more glitches. I will be on tomorrow, live, leading up to Thursday, September 11th, 13th anniversary of the tragedy that happened. But I want to direct your attention to drjudywood.com. drjudywood.com. Very compelling evidence, and I am thoroughly convinced that the official story is totally and absolutely bogus, considering that there were 10 members on the 9/11 Commission, and 6 of them walked off and said, we didn't get all the information that we wanted, they didn't give it to us, and they retracted their statements. So you tell me. I don't want to hear from people who say, well, the official story, that's it, and that's the way it was. 19 hijackers got these planes and flew them into buildings. No. John Lear, the son of the Learjet designer and CEO of Learjet, the son is a pilot. Very well-trained pilot, and said those jets would have not even gotten close to those buildings. Okay? And if they did, what about the videos? What about that? That's really? When witnesses on the ground said those planes were not commercial jets. Even the broadcasters said they weren't commercial jets. And one of the videos that you see of the plane hitting the second tower, there's something underneath on the fuselage. Tell me what that is. I really want to know. And why did they close the World Trade Centers, both of them, over the weekend for maintenance, when they've never done that from the day those things were completed? Okay? So anyway, I really, really appreciate all of you listening. I appreciate that very, very much. It is something that I look forward to sharing with you, the truth, one fact at a time. I really enjoy bringing you this information. And if there's, of course, any questions you have, don't hesitate to ask. More than happy to tell you. More than happy to tell you. I'll be back right after this. Catch up on the latest news and controversy and more on The Spencer Hughes Show on Spreaker.com and SpencerHughes.net. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us, and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. you'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network.
Sharing
Thank
the
you.
truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Hey folks, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show for Tuesday the 9th of September 2014. About ready to get out of here. Had a little glitch earlier. I was going to go and 2 hours, but I figured I had to glitch and I've only got so much to share with you, so I figured what the heck. We'll take off here in a little bit. Facts are facts, folks, and I don't want to hear anybody tell me, well, you got your facts, I got mine. Facts are absolute. If 1 + 1 = 2, why are you telling me no? If you tell me that house next door is, white with red trim, and I go look at it, why am I going to tell you that you're wrong? It's that simple, folks. The evidence to 9/11 attacks that our government perpetrated on us, yes, the government did it to themselves, basically, and blamed someone else. That goes back thousands of years, folks. The Roman Empire, they had the emperor, I think it was Nero, I'm not sure, went around town setting places on fire and then telling the rest of the people, the citizens, that it was somebody else outside of town. Oh, they snuck into town and they started burning things down. And so they gathered, the support of the general public into warring against an enemy, supposed enemy, which, of course, was bogus to begin with. And that's what they did. So why do you think that type of situation and those ideas were not implemented on September 11th, 2001? By the way, 8 years earlier, they ran a test run with the truck bomb that blew up in the basement of the World Trade Center. I think it was number 2. And that was all set up by the FBI and the CIA. I can't remember the guy's name that they set up, but he came out and blew the whistle saying, yeah, they gave him fake bombs, and then on the day that they wanted to do it, it was real. They gave him fake detonators, and on the day they wanted to do this, it was real, and they set it off. And they blamed him for it. So, it's not like our government isn't, completely and totally corrupt, because they are, but, why do you think this wouldn't happen, folks? Why? FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. TheWayneSPierceShow.weebly.com is the website for this show. TheWayneSPierceShow.weebly.com. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, even if you disagree with me, I'm okay with that. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. And folks, I'm going to get out of here. Talk to you later. We the people have the power, for we are America.